cordially invite you to visit our state and see this mammoth power project.
But before that, the lake wasn't even a lake at all. It was, in fact, an area inhabited by small communities with a river running through it.
I was struck by lightning yesterday at 4:44 p.m. while I was swimming at the lake. Let me tell you this.
Story time on how I got struck by lightning at Lake George, South Carolina.
This is an opportunity for each of you to see one of the many developments now going on in the South, particularly in South Carolina. We cordially invite you to visit our state and see this mammoth power project, the largest of its kind in the world.
I was struck by lightning yesterday at 4:44 p.m. while I was swimming at the lake. Let me tell you the story. Here's the report. It says 18 people were struck by lightning, but it was the whole freaking lake. So, of course, why would you want to go swimming when the sky is cloudy? The thing is, the sky was not cloudy and it was not raining when we got struck. When we got to the lake, we immediately got into the water. After a minute of being in the water for like 30 minutes to an hour, it started to smell like rain and it was kind of cloudy, so we got out of the water and it started sprinkling. Like, it wasn't a whole thunderstorm. It wasn't like, oh, rain, you know? So everything cleared up. It got really sunny and it got really, really hot. So I'm sweating and stuff. I'm like, I'm about to go get my little self in the water. So I go in the water. My little brother goes in the water. My mom goes in the water. And I'm swimming around, playing around with them. And something's telling me, like, go swim. Go and swim, girl. As you can see, this is a clear sky. Where's the lightning coming from? I'm doing my last lap before we go because they're cooking food. The food is almost done. I'm ready to eat. I'm really hungry. I didn't eat anything all freaking day. So I'm doing my last lap I'm swimming. I'm feeling connected with the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, clear away. Like, I'm floating in the water and stuff. And I'm swimming towards like the line that divides the water. As I'm swimming towards the line, I'm getting deeper and deeper in the water, but I'm continuing to float and I'm staying on top of the water. So there was some seaweed that grabbed my leg and I'm just thinking, like, how is this seaweed so freaking tall and why is it touching me? So I turned around because I was creeped out. As I'm swimming back, I'm feeling good, like I'm floating, I'm connecting with the river, and all you freaking know, bam, everything went white. My body, boom. It was so loud. Everything went white. I felt like something hit my head. Like, I literally thought I ran into something. Like, I ran into a freaking boat. I thought I ran into a boat. Like, I don't know. I thought someone threw a rock at me. Something. Why? Bro. After I get struck, everything went white. My body was like, I can barely remember what happened when I was underwater. All I remember is just getting up, just like, and looking around. Everyone was screaming. Everyone was running. Everyone was freaking out. Like, I'm telling you, as soon as I looked up, it felt like a movie, like a scary movie, like sharks was coming, like a tornado. I don't know. I felt like I just died. I'm running out of the water. I see my mom and my little brother. My mom is looking at my little brother like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, oh my gosh, my little baby, are you okay? And I'm just like, just going crazy because we just got struck by lightning. Like, what? And it wasn't even that far from us. If I was to swim, like, this is why I said I was swimming to the barrier. It struck like right over there. If I would have kept swimming and went to the little divider thing, I would have had to go to the hospital. I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness. It was so many people on the line. They were holding it. They were just hanging around it. As soon as it struck, that thing is metal. So it conducted the electricity super to them. And a lady passed out. They had to drag her out of the water. That's why when they were like, call 911, I was looking like, I'm about to call now. What? And they're saying like, this is the first time this has happened at that lake. Like, the first time everyone has been struck by by some lightning. And I'm like, why wait till I get here? Like, why what? Yes, I'm fine. Like, if I would have had any of my jewelry on, and something literally told me like, don't wear your jewelry to the beach, because last time I went to the same beach, I had my jewelry on. If I would have had my jewelry on and we would have got struck by lightning, and I would have had that thing on my neck, the copper necklace on my neck, and this on my wrist, I wouldn't be here to tell this tale, man. I don't know. But I am so thankful for being alive. I'm so thankful that my mom and my little brother is okay. And I just feel like maybe like I'm about to get some superpowers or something.
Story time on how I got struck by lightning at Lake Murray, South Carolina. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit. It wasn't just me, it was about 20 other people. They said it was 12 kids. But everyone in the water who initially was there got struck and electrocuted. Some worse than others. Unfortunately, I was one of the people who got a little bit stronger of a struck. Basically, it was a very sunny day. Maybe an hour or something before, hour or two before, it drizzled and there was a little bit of storm clouds, but they went away. Like, whenever it happened, it wasn't cloudy, it wasn't raining, it wasn't anything like that. There was no sign that it was going to have that happen. And whenever they checked the radar, like the weather, there was no more rain. So upon the time of the initial shock, we got back in the water. I was like, let's go get in the water, we're gonna go swim out there, you know, just enjoy the rest of the day because it was very sunny. Once we get in the water, me and Haley, which is my sister-in-law, decide to swim out to the buoys. My sister's boyfriend Cody comes in trailing after us. We're like laughing and joking, and we go to turn away from the buoys, and a few seconds later, I don't remember exactly how far away I was away, my memory's still kind of foggy, but a few seconds later it was very loud. We heard a loud crash and a flash of light, and everything went still. It felt like my body had been struck by like 20 different tasers, and my heart got really fast, but everything around us went silent. Nobody moved. It was as if time froze and stood still. After we realized what had happened, during the initial shock, I bit my inside of my cheek and my tongue, so I had blood in my mouth. But after everything, we realized what happened. We were all just rushing out of the water. It looked like a literal scene from Jaws. Everyone was rushing and screaming and freaking out and just trying to get out of the water. There were so many kids who were in the water. I just remember seeing them and like thinking, we have got to get everybody out of the water, because it was just, you know, you don't know if it's gonna happen again and all of that. We were told that we got shocked because of the lightning bolt hit the water and then the metal buoys spread out, and the metal is what kind of helped it get to everybody. So the people on the buoys got it a lot worse. As we were getting on the water, I called my mom, and I called someone to come pick me and my sister-in-law up, so we can leave separate, because we had a rental car. We didn't have enough room in the car. And when I was on the phone with him, I was like, hold on a second, because I noticed people pulling someone out of the water, and he looked in very bad. He didn't look very good at all. His skin was peeling. He was nauseous. They were putting water on him. So the EMS got called. Once the EMS got there, while they're on the way there, we're all just looking at him, trying to figure out what's wrong with him. And the EMS gets there, like, does anybody else need any help? And I didn't really feel anything. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel nauseous. I couldn't really tell. I think my adrenaline was too high. After a few minutes, my brother's like, you need to be seen. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And I was just constantly shaking, but I couldn't feel it. And I also couldn't, like, feel my body. I just felt numb. I just kind of paid attention to it, though, because I was worried about the kids. I was just more worried about the kids getting seen and taken care of. So once it was my turn to be seen, they do blood pressure. They do all the vitals they need to take. And they immediately told me I was yellow and needed to be put into the back of the ambulance and taken somewhere immediately. I didn't get a choice of what hospital to go to. I just remember getting in the ambulance. I started to feel funny. Everything started to spin. I got dizzy. I was throwing up. I had a headache. Couldn't feel anything. And a few minutes later go by. And last thing I remember is the ambulance telling me we're 10 minutes away. We'll be there in 10 minutes. And then I had blacked out. So I remember waking up in the hospital in a room surrounded by people. They were everywhere. There were doctors, nurses, people all around me. They did an initial assessment on me. They cut off my clothes. They were just taking care of me. We did CT scans, MRIs, anything you could think of. They did. I had to be monitored for my cardiac all night long. They monitored my heart all night, along with neuro, because we just couldn't figure out why. I was so numb. I still am now. I still can't move my legs. I can move them, I just can't feel them. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. So, I stayed overnight, and they put cuffs on me to massage my legs to make sure that I constantly had blood flow to them and that they didn't clot, because I wasn't allowed to use the bathroom. I was a huge fall risk because, like I said, I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel anything. And then overnight, I started to get better. My vitals were going up. Everything was going really good. So they initially sent me home, which I'm so thankful to be home. But I am on bed rest. I am also being watched. If anything, the numbness gets worse, I have to go to the doctor. But I have heard that the kids and everyone else who was there was fine. I did have some burns and some lightning looking marks on my back and my bottom, but other than that, I'm just so thankful to be alive. But a lot of people think that it was storming and it was super like rainy and dark and cloudy. It wasn't. It was very beautiful, very sunny. As a matter of fact, like, this is how it looked. It was very beautiful, very sunny, like just a good day. That's literally what it looked like, and it wasn't bad. But yeah, that's the story of how we were struck by lightning.
That's the story.
Hey, how about you and me take a trip to Lake Murray, South Carolina? Let's go. The lake was named after William S. Murray, who was an engineer involved in the design and creation of the dam. Above the surface, Lake Murray is home to happy-go-lucky boaters partying on water, but below the murky waves, you'll find relics of the lake's troubled past. It wasn't always like this, though. Construction on Lake Murray's massive double dam began in 2002 and wasn't completed until 2005. Back in the day, there were miles and miles of empty shoreline, not yet crowded with condos and lakefront mansions, but before that, the lake wasn't even a lake at all. It was in fact an area inhabited by small communities with a river running through it. Back in the 1920s, a man by the name of Thomas Williams thought it was a brilliant idea to bring hydroelectric power to the rivers in the Midlands. However, other engineers in South Carolina thought it was a dumb idea. However, one engineer from New York named William Murray, he saw value in this. In 1927, the Lexington Power Company began securing the massive amounts of land it would need to begin constructing the lake and the dam. More than 100,000 acres, 75,000 of which were wooded areas, were purchased. This section of land included 3 churches, 6 schools, and 193 graveyards that contained 2,323 graves. And nearly a dozen communities had to vacate, including Derrick, Pine Ridge, Selwood, Wessinger, and Cantsville. Let's not forget Leapart, Sevilla, Boylestown, Lorena, not to mention Holly's Ferry and Lorix Ferry, all had to leave. Many of the families that lived on this purchased property relocated not far from the project, although some of the smaller communities and poorer people in the area, those people suffered. And there are other things that lurk beneath the water surface. In addition to the communities, the most recent recovery was a B-25C Mitchell bomber that crashed into the lake during training exercises for World War II in 1943. Throughout the 1940s, a number of B-25C Mitchell bombers flying out of nearby Columbia crashed into Lake Murray during training exercises for World War II. A few were able to be recovered, but 3 remained until September of 2005, when a B-25C Mitchell bomber that crashed in 1943 was raised from the depths of the lake. I feel like talking about the myths now. Spanning 50,000 acres is just the right size to hide a monster, one specifically named Messi. The first sighting of Messi was in 1933 by a man named Gilbert Little of Ballantine, South Carolina, who claimed to see something large swimming in the lake. Now, do you think it's a coincidence that the sighting coincided with the emergence of Scotland's Nessie in 1933? I don't think so. And what about the ghosts? Not only are there men who died during the building of this lake, there's also men that refuse to sell their property only to live for eternity in their properties below the lake. Lake Murray is full of history, some dark, some benign, but one thing is true: if you decide to go there alone, you're not.